Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. I'm glad you're still here. I thought you walked out. I'm here to talk about rhythm for a little while. So before I sit down and play some more or even speak on some things about rhythm, I'd like to know by applause, since I can't see the hands, how many people in here believe they have rhythm? That feels good. Okay. How many people in here don't think they have rhythm? And funny, they sound the same. Everyone's clapping the same rhythm, you know. You might think I'm crazy, but I'm one of those persons walking around today who believes that everyone has rhythm. And not only do we all have rhythm, we all have an opportunity every day to get better at it as human beings. So I'm going to get into that. This evening I'd like to really assess a few things. Just wanted to share some things with you. I had an interview maybe about a month and a half ago, and I just thought it would be fitting for this evening's talk. In the interview, the young lady asked, well, when did you start playing drums? And how long has it been, how long have you been a musician? And I said, well, honestly, I don't know myself not playing drums, and I've always played as far as I can remember. And it took me to explain to her what I meant was, I've watched my mother deal with grands and great-grands, all the same. They all had to learn to walk to a drum set. And what I mean by that is we all learn how to walk, yes, to someone doing this. But in the eyes of all the grands and great-grands, there was a drum set somewhere in the house that they could actually turn that attention to and walk. So I have to assume, you know how grandparents are, they're kind of laxed. They're really relaxed with the grandkids. As the third of four boys, it wasn't that easy, it wasn't that relaxed. I think I was sitting on drums at some point before I could walk, to be honest with you. So I grew up playing in church. I'm a Charlestonian. I grew up playing in church, and the rhythms that I've learned how to play through my entire life, especially at the beginning, I've come to know or come to learn them to be gullah rhythms or traditional gullah rhythms. That rhythm, the bottom rhythm, was this. Let's clap that. Good. Is everyone clapping? Let me hear all the non-rhythm people clap this rhythm right quick. Okay? Here we go. Yeah. Awesome. So much for not having rhythm. This is great. So, my entire life I've been playing drums and had all of, I just can't begin to tell you how many different types of experiences that I've had growing up in school, being criticized as someone who played these rhythms, especially in other churches as we traveled. They used to make fun of me because that's how we clapped in church. And for a long time I actually would play exactly like everyone else would want to play. And not be made fun of. But there's one thing that always stuck out, and it stood out till this day. When I had 6th grade band or 7th grade band, my band teacher made us actually fill out how many hours of the day we practiced, or we had to practice 30 minutes per day, pretty much. Well, when I took my slips in, all signed by my mom, they were like 3 hours Monday, 5 hours Tuesday, so many hours of the day that I actually played. Well, that was because we had church every day, so I put those hours in there as well. Well, Well, not every day, but we did have revivals and things like that. But where I'm going with this is to show that a lot of people, a lot of times when I'm being interviewed, they make these comments about when they see me play, like, oh, you make it look so natural, like it just comes to you so naturally. And I guess that could be the case, but when you really look at it, you have to consider the work ethic that goes into any art or any gift. We all have gifts in here. Mine's drums, mine's music. But some of you are actors, some of you are going to be, I don't know, doctors, lawyers. But the amount of time that it takes you to be or get where you're going, we consider that conditioning. We consider that necessary so that you can actually you can facilitate the expertise that you're really trying to, manifest pretty much. You need conditioning in order to get it all out, get it all across. That being said, when we travel and when we're playing and when everything is going on, we're trying to really not look tired. Pretty much. No one cares that you're tired when you're flying from here to Europe for a half day and then coming back. They want to hear you play. And they want to hear you play well. So the ethic that goes into every art form, or every discipline, I should say, is extremely important. And I encourage all my fellow students who are out here, I say fellow students because I still consider myself a student of rhythm and music, please don't forget about the work ethic. Work ethic and rhythm. I can play drums all day. I'm at home with that. But when it comes to talking about rhythm, there are certain things that still gets complicated in trying to talk about it and discussing it. I travel a lot, play in a lot of different cultures. And everywhere I go, after or before I play facilitate my obligation and play my concert with whatever artist I'm with, I try to find a moment where I can actually get into the rhythms of a culture. And one experience that sticks out to me is Taiko drumming. Now this sticks out because usually when I'm home or when I travel abroad and come back home, I've had pretty much the luxury of performing different styles of music here in Charleston with my friends, my colleagues at the College of Charleston, or just whatever. We actually get to play these musics. Monday night concert series, they stand out to me from day one. From day one. My years here as a student at the College of Charleston, I've performed with Steve Rosenberg and the early music ensemble. And it just opened my eyes and my ears to the different type of rhythms that I could use, actually return to using. I could use the substratum of gullah rhythm and the comfort that I had in my own identity, my own culture, and play them with Steve Rosenberg and early music. Well, that's interesting because maybe 3 concerts later, I was able to actually play with Mark Renier and Tacey Edwards playing tango. But wait a minute, I'm not in Argentina. I'm in a recital hall. Okay? So I'm actually experiencing all of these different styles of music and playing them and playing these rhythms with people who I see every day, in a hall that I play in every day, in a hall that you can come to Monday and check out what's happening. But tango. It's a pretty quick tango, but it is tango. But you still heard that? Clap that with me while I play tango. Good. Good. Don't show up Monday and clap in the middle of the performance, okay? I'm just getting you hip to the fact that these styles do happen. But back to Taiko, which is not a style that I've ever been able to play at home, but it's really about the Pacific rhythms in this culture, in Japan. And I mean, you've seen these drummers, they play these drums, doom, 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 but there's always a small drum. Now I'm going to try to do something I've never done before, and I attempted this in the sound check. Thank you. Thank you. But I have to tell you, when I was in Japan, and I was pretty adamant about taking a Taiko lesson, it was among the most humbling things I've ever done. Because when you're actually trying to take on a different culture, rhythmically, or any kind of way, through its cuisine, its language, you have to understand how late you're starting in the game, and that there's going to be this little 7-year-old kid who's got it, and you don't. It's pretty humbling. Let me see. We're still talking about rhythms. The church that I grew up in, everyone played some type of percussion instrument. Now, one that's struck me as really interesting was one that Deacon Quarterbaum used to come to the church and play. They call it the scrub board. Sharpboard. Or a washboard, you know what I mean? Let me hear you clap like that. Almost getting there. We're getting there. So this fascination with rhythm actually is what brought me back to the College of Charleston. I really wanted to learn jazz and pursue a jazz career after having a gospel career. And I've been fortunate enough as a student to study with Dr. Dave Maves and William Gudger. And they both got me to listen to a style of music that they were not teaching me, but they got me to hear it differently through what they were sharing with me. And I believe it was the art of the fugue or something when I really started hearing the works of the bebop gods like Charlie Parker and getting to understand what was going on in bebop. Through being exposed to the art of fugue with Dr. Maves and Billy Gudger. Also, I pride myself, I like to think that I'm a very lyrical soloist on my instrument. So when I'm playing drum solos and in jazz concerts, I try to evoke the melody and try to actually get a lot more melodic in my playing. And I'm happy to say that one of my dear friends, who's now the chair of my department, Ed Hart, he was my composition professor my senior year, along with Dr. Maves, and he had me working on melodies in a way where I never actually thought about it. I realized that those were special moments for me here at the college as a student. Now as an adjunct professor in the department, I'm trying to actually take everything that I've learned and all that I'm still learning while I'm on the road and share it with the students who trust me with their knowledge or their experience and their quest of education. And I'm trying to do that through rhythm. So it's an amazing, amazing thing to understand that with rhythm and through rhythm, you can get a better understanding about cultures, about yourself, about music in general. I'm just glad to be here this evening to share my talents and my gifts with you. And I think everyone wants to dance for a little bit and have a good time with some rhythm. So I want all the non-rhythmic people to please stand. Please. All non-rhythmic people, please stand up. We won't turn the lights on. We won't turn the lights on, but I want you to do whatever you think comes natural. Turn the lights on. All right, everybody get up. Thank you very much.